Infinite worlds, endless stories.
Guilt is not a sudden blow. It is a slow, freezing wait. For 3 days, the apartment on 7th Avenue has been a tomb. The blinds are drawn tight, choking out the morning sun, reducing the outside world to thin strips of gray light slicing through the dust motes. Inside, Iris Vance is trying to hide from the math. She has spent the last 72 hours executing a frantic, desperate ritual. Every reflective surface in the small apartment has been systematically removed from her sight. The vanity mirror in the bathroom is wrapped tightly in a thick, dark blue bath towel. The full-length mirror in the hallway is taped over with layers of brown packing paper. Even the polished chrome toaster on the kitchen counter has been turned toward the wall. She tells herself it is because she cannot bear to look at her own reflection. She is terrified of what she might see. She cannot see her own timer. She learned that in the hospital. But after the rain-slicked sidewalk, after the delivery bike, after the scattered groceries and the spilled milk, she is terrified that the oily black stain of a killer has finally taken root on her own throat. But you cannot hide from the ticking inside an apartment, because every time Leo walks past her bedroom door, the light bleeds through the cracks. Leo's clock is down to 3 days, 12 hours, and 5 minutes. Every step he takes through the hallway leaves a trace of glowing white static in her mind. He is a walking detonator, completely oblivious to his own wire, and the walls of her room offer no protection against the countdown. The air inside the apartment becomes toxic, heavy with unspoken dread, and the low-frequency hum of Leo's eroding lifespan. Driven by a desperate need to breathe, Iris flees into the biting cold of the afternoon. She walks without direction, her hood pulled low, her eyes fixed strictly on the pavement to avoid the sea of numbers hovering over the afternoon commuters. She stops at a concrete retaining wall bordering the dark, churning waters of the East River. The wind here is fierce, freezing the tears on her cheeks. She watches the black current pull debris beneath the modern suspension bridge in the distance. She is entirely alone on the gravel path, or so she thinks. Habitually, her eyes drift to the green iron bench 20 feet away. A man is sitting there. He wears a heavy charcoal gray wool trench coat, his collar turned up against the freezing spray of the river. He is smoking a cigarette, the gray embers drifting away into the wind like dying stars. Iris braces herself. She tilts her chin upward, preparing for the violent flash of white digital light. She prepares to calculate his decades, or worse, his minutes. But nothing happens. Iris blinks, rubbing her eyes with a gloved hand. She stares harder. The air above the man's head is dead, heavy, and gray. There are no numbers. There is no translucent white aura. There is no glowing digital glare. But more terrifyingly, there is no black stain on his throat either. He is a complete void in the fabric of the reality she has come to know. A blank space in the ledger of the universe. The man on the bench doesn't turn his head immediately. He takes one final, slow drag from his cigarette, the orange ember flaring brightly against the gray backdrop of the river, before exhaling a thick plume of smoke into the winter air. Then, his eyes meet hers. They are an unnatural, piercing slate gray, completely devoid of warmth. He looks at Iris not with curiosity, but with the cold recognition of a survivor looking at a fellow casualty. "You're tracking the seconds, aren't you?" His voice is a low, rough baritone, entirely unbothered by the biting wind. Iris freezes. There is a violent spike in her pulse and a sudden, instinctive tightening of her fists inside her pockets. She tries to step back, to run, but her boots feel as though they have been poured into the concrete wall beneath her. The man stands up. He steps off the gravel path, walking toward her with a slow, deliberate pace. "My name is Julian," he says, stopping exactly 5 feet away. "And if you keep staring at the numbers in public, they will realize you can see them. And trust me, kid, they don't like being watched." Iris stumbles backward, her back hitting the cold iron railing of the river pier. "What are you?" Her voice is a panicked whisper, torn away by the wind. "Why don't you have a clock? Everyone has a clock." Julian offers a bitter, humorless twist of his lips. He reaches up with a gloved hand, grabbing the high collar of his wool trench coat, and pulls it down. Carved deep into the center of his skin, right where the thick, oily black death marks usually take root, is a brutal, jagged white scar. It is thick, uneven, and runs horizontally across his windpipe. A permanent, violent disruption of the flesh. "Because I paid the price to blind myself," Julian whispers, his slate gray eyes boring into hers. "I got tired of watching the world drown." Before Iris can process the horror of the scar, a familiar voice cuts through the freezing mist of the river park. It is Leo. He has been tracking her phone's GPS, driving himself half mad with worry after finding her room empty and the apartment covered in paper and towels. He is running down the concrete path now, his breathing heavy, his face flushed with a mixture of anger and terror. Iris looks at him, and the world splits open again. Hovering above Leo's short sponge twists, burning with a violent, unrelenting intensity against the gray winter sky, are the digits: 3 days, 9 hours, 14 minutes. 3 days, 9 hours, 13 minutes. 3 days, 9 hours. The math is moving faster now, the gravity of his destination pulling him in. Julian doesn't look up at the empty air above Leo's head, but his gray eyes track the sudden, paralyzing horror reflecting in Iris's pupils. He knows exactly what she is looking at. Julian steps back into the shadows of the suspension bridge pier, his voice dropping into a dangerous, urgent whisper. "That's your brother, isn't it? You're running out of road, Iris. You tried to change the math with that bus downtown, didn't you? I saw the report. A delivery girl died on the curb." Iris snaps her head toward him, her chest heaving. "I didn't mean to. I didn't know." "You didn't know because you don't understand the debt," Julian interrupts, his voice cutting like a scalpel. "Let me tell you a fundamental secret about the universe, kid. It never loses a dime. You take a second from over here, it steals a second from over there, and right now, the ledger is looking at your family. If you keep fighting it, it won't just take him. It will take everyone you've ever touched." Leo pulls her away, spinning her around, his face a mask of fraternal panic. He looks over his shoulder to confront the stranger in the trench coat, but the green bench is empty. The path beneath the bridge is vacant. Julian has vanished into the freezing mist as quickly as a ghost, leaving nothing behind but the faint, fading scent of tobacco smoke drifting over the dark river. "Iris, look at me," Leo begs, his hands shaking as he forces her to face him. "You're freezing. You're not safe out here. You haven't slept in 3 days. Please, come home with me." Iris looks into her brother's warm, living eyes. She feels the physical heat of his hands through her heavy gray hoodie. He is so real. He is so alive. But above his head, the neon sharp white numbers click downward, cold and entirely indifferent to his youth, entirely indifferent to her love. 3 days, 9 hours. The warning has been delivered. The shadow man has drawn the line in the sand. And as Iris allows Leo to lead her back toward the city streets, she realizes the most terrifying truth of all. She has 3 days to find Julian again, or her brother becomes nothing more than a settled debt